Do you miss bro?
No, I don't.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Actually,
I'm healed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think healing is like a finite thing, though?
I think it's a stepping stone for wanting to move on.
Right.
Because when you're not healed, you tend to dismantle everything when you get to the next person, because you're going to carry your trauma, your toxicity, and everything into that new relationship. Then it just gets some kind of way. So I think that you have to be fully healed.
All right.
What's up, Sassy fans? So we are live on another edition of the Chill Session. And today, my guest is Loverboy Stunn. Not a funny Loverboy, no, I'm put on there. What's up with you?
What it do? Pleasure being here.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm fine. Should I say I'm fine?
Doing
or should I
good?
say? Yeah, I think I'm okay. I'm a little nervous, but I'm okay. You know, when we see pretty boys, we don't know how to act.
Nah, you look amazing yourself.
Thank you. So tell me, who are you wearing today before we can get into...
I didn't know I was going to do this, but I've got Big Zor, actually my stylist, and my brother as well, a Liberian designer, nice. Very importantly.
That's
and
nice.
This jeans, I don't know where, but I think I got it when I was somewhere away from Europe or somewhere.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, Air Forces, like normal.
No, but you look good.
I mean,
I saw the Big Zor, so I was like,
yeah,
okay.
that's my brother. He's doing his thing, fashion-wise as well.
Yes.
Doing what they do.
Yes. I think I had a conversation with him during the season 1. He's actually doing
genius.
So how are you doing mentally, emotionally, musically? How are you doing?
I think one word, balance. Like, it's easy to get lost in, all of the noise and everything. I think as a person, I just try to find like a, nice place and stay calm.
Yeah.
And, that's exactly, what it is. I'm doing good.
You're doing good.
Right.
Emotionally, everything. Nobody breaking your heart.
I think emotionally, I think good is an understatement. I think I'm doing great because, life is beautiful. Life, gave you a lot of reasons to be grateful. So
right.
Yeah.
But for your position in society, you have to be doing great emotionally and mentally.
You think so? Yeah.
Or sometimes, especially for the kind of music that you do, I don't want you to do great emotionally.
Wow. Why?
Because it gives you inspiration to give us emotional music.
I kind of agree though, but my process is kind of different. I think it's more like I see myself as a vessel, so regardless of how I feel,
so you don't necessarily have to be going through heartbreak before you give us heartbreak songs.
No. I kind of I write heartbreak songs for like a lot of people, and I don't be going.
So all the love songs that you've been singing, you are not in love.
No,
you're ready.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I just have a way of removing myself from the equation as well and bring forth whatever it is like.
Right. But that's good. Let's hear what's the energy are you bringing to the chill session today? We're having drinks, eating fruits, and having conversation. What's the energy?
I mean, it's a chill session.
You're bringing the energy.
The boys just chill. The vibes just
that's
come
good.
here.
Now let's go back to the beginning. I know that I don't know if you started from the church as well. Did you?
No.
Okay, so you were with was it Floyd Nation?
Swag District.
Yeah, sorry. So now tell us, how did music start for you? Is it with Swag District or way back then than Swag District?
I think as of now, I kind of have like an idea that music is kind of in my family, right?
Okay.
And I think I came to that realization recently where I realized that, my uncle been doing music way before I was born. This person been doing music. For example, Danger's my cousin as well.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a family thing. But I think, primarily for me as a person, music, the journey started with Swag District. And that was when we had Swag District as an organization. And then we had like the entertainment arm, the Swag District Entertainment. And that was like, Jay Slut, myself,
right.
Nucci and, everybody came from. And I think basically the idea of Swag District Entertainment was to because what we started doing at the time was, having parties and stuff for right. Our audience, right? So it was like, exactly how
you all the celebrities back then.
Exactly, that was how we sold our things and everything. And yeah, so we realized that we would book artists and stuff to come and perform, and then that would take away a huge part of our revenue. So trying to be smart around it. We're like, what? Let's figure out all the talented guys here.
We got rappers,
everybody
we
get
got
the
singers.
studio. Exactly. And funny enough, I think because we already had like Nucci and everybody in them recording
Yeah,
already, but it was
yeah.
like, let's just take this thing serious and just push it to another level, and that was it. So everybody
And what
was
was the first song that you did, and then you was like, okay, I think I want to do this.
funny thing. My first day in studio, that was it. Like I didn't go like 1 or 2 days saying, oh, I want to. Funny, no. The thing about it is that J Slot, myself, and my other guys, we used to do like a recording session type thing, at the house. But there's, with just like not proper equipments, it's just like, vibe, just beats and everything. So it was that until we had the time to do the studio session. And yeah, the first recording was Zogo Love. That was my first song, that came
Yes,
out.
I
And
can
yeah,
remember. I
and
can
that was my
remember.
actual first, studio recording. So
Okay. And how was the reception when you did Zogo Love? Did the Liberian people
Surprise.
to it?
Surprisingly, cause I didn't even do the song, like, again, like I said, right, we had like our market, right. In my head it was like, focus on this market, market whatever it is, and then we have a chance. So now instead of paying artists to come and perform, we perform to our own crowd, right. But God had a bigger plan, obviously, so that was just like, the beginning of it. And yeah, I mean, I did that, and I got calls. Matter of fact, A-Roy and I, we had our first performance at the Drunk Blizzard Beach. That was at the So Fresh event, sometime in February. And yeah, it was a great one. We did it, and that was like, some sudden, soar happened. Because we got calls from like major stations, and that was like, let's just see where this thing is gonna go. And a lot of things started from there.
And
A lot.
This is where
a
it
lot,
has
a lot,
it has been and it's taking you.
Yep. Very important.
That's a good story.
That's the
Did you
journey of
have
life.
any influence back then? Like, did you look up to people that were in the music game?
Sure. Like I said, Danger is my cousin. So it was like, very, very easy to like have conversations with him about. But again, I never had it in my mind like, I'm going to do music, right? Because anybody that know me probably, like, it was like all book, school and everything. Like, come from school, go do this, go do that. It's school. So that switch was very, very sudden. But I think I realized that for me, it was just more than just doing what people expected. But, I had to find my true self, I believed. And
have you found your true self?
I think in a very beautiful way. I've been on a very, very, very great spiritual journey. And I think I'm at a very, like I said, balanced place.
Because I was just about to ask you if you can name your journey so far from back then to now to where you're going in one word, what would that be? Think.
Adventurous. And I'll tell you why.
Yes, tell me.
I mean, life is full of surprises. And as a person, I've just been, learning, evolving, and designing, like, willingness to grow, And I think...
So it's adventures.
Yeah.
So we have more adventures ahead of us.
I think that's life. I think you can't take that factor
we
away.
look forward to it. We are your fans. Even
No, 100%. Like, as a person, I don't keep myself in like a bag and say,
Right.
even people that know me, I got folks that know me from music, persona, and people that know me from like, other things as well, so it's like, I'm always trying to like, evolve, find new parts of myself, you might hear, oh, Stunn is a part of this, and doing this. Again, I started as a promoter, right? So think about evolving from that to now, an artist, so. And it's still happening because right now, this phase of my life, I'm, seeing a lot of things happening. I'm a musician actively and figuring out, so there's something that, I go to sleep at night and, I wake up is like on my heart, my mind, and that's like, the future of the creative, industries. And very important, I feel like, as creatives, our responsibility to actually getting, involved. Yeah.
That's true. So when you came, I was talking about making lover music and not making songs for the single people. Now I would like to know, how would you describe your style of music to people who do not understand or maybe may have not heard your song before? What would you say your genre or style of music that you do?
I think at this point in time, I do music, like, just like, I try not to keep myself in like a box because, again, I have an EP coming out very soon. It's like, makes
diverse.
Exactly. Just that, like, I try to not limit myself to one genre, and I'll tell you why. Because it's just like, again, as a person, I want to find different sides of myself.
So are you expecting I'm a piano song for you?
Actually, I do have a couple of them. Of course. And which is like, I record different sounds. Like, I do country music as well. I do music that I feel.
You do what?
Yeah, I have a couple of songs that,
You got country music?
I do. I do. And I mean, I will drop them.
I am
promise
a
you.
lover of country music, so
Alright.
you
Me too.
have to drop them.
Do you know what's crazy? When I write songs, that's like my preferred writing genre. So like, if it's like an actual love song, I imagine it as, country song, and then I write it. That's how my
When you
storytelling
drop your
is.
country music, can I be the first person to premiere
I
it?
got you. I got you. I got you. I got
Because
you.
I am a lover of country music,
you, I
and to
got you.
hear that a Liberian musician is about to drop a country music,
Yep.
I definitely want to be a part of it. And okay, so when you're doing your songs,
Thank you.
what message do you portray? Do you want to send out there for your fans to grab?
I mean, I kind of think it depends on, the type of song, right? There are some songs, again, I kind of see myself as a vessel, like, when I'm recording. So it's like, whatever I'm feeling,
You want your fans to feel it.
exactly, very importantly, the, emotions, not just the idea of, words and stuff. Like, if I'm in a certain mindset at a point in time, I want, whoever listening to be able to relate and whatnot. So it depends on the song.
On that mood.
Yeah. If it's a love song, about, actual love, I want you to think about a special person in your life.
Hello.
That's what
I
it is.
told you to make song for the single people.
Nah.
So at least when we are listening to the song, then we can say, oh yes, this is a song for single people.
But
That message not be sure,
I told you, I said, at the end of the day, we are supposed to evolve and meet love, right? So whatever we are doing.
We are supposed to evolve and meet love.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm at this stage. Let me enjoy while I'm at this stage before I meet love.
But I told you, I got a couple of songs, that actually meet you exactly where you're at.
You sure?
Yeah, I promise you.
I will by a word.
I mean, the thing about it is that, like, I wrote a song so toxic recently that I was like, I didn't believe that as a person, like, I could put that, to work. And
No, but I have men looking.
no, I mean, like, just out of my, own persona
No,
as a
but
person.
naturally men are toxic people.
Wow. I don't think I am, by the way, disclaimer. I think I'm a, chill guy. I think I'm a chill guy. I do my best,
Imagine you make toxic song to yourself, you sit and you hold it by and say, what?
No, but here's why though, because it was just like, again, I try to like, I'm like, somebody out there must be going through this, right? Can relate to this, right? But I mean, it was just overboard a little bit, yeah.
You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Imagine
yeah.
you catch yourself.
No, I'm being honest. I was like, nah. Think about that again.
This is
brother.
way overboard.
Yeah,
like
way
when people
overboard.
listen to this one, they will say, "This is me."
Yeah.
No, but I get
But it's
it.
on the EP though, so I mean, they'll get it.
It's still
Yeah,
there.
Yeah, still there.
You won't give me the
Gotta
name
be
after
there.
your song.
I got you.
Oh, I get
I got you.
it. Okay, so of all the songs that you've made,
All right.
which one is more personal to you?
I think, okay, I wouldn't say everything because it's kind of hard to select, but at this
Like which one you wrote
at this moment,
based on real life events?
right, at this moment in time, I would say Diamond, and I'll tell you why. Diamonds, because this is like a page of a book that I took, right? And just like decided to like do music with it. Like I really do believe firmly in like things I said. Right? It's not like oh, you're just doing the music because you want the validation, and it was none of that. It was about I want to look back a couple of years from now and be like, I have this song that I did, and this is how I felt in that moment in time. And that's that's the one.
And do you think when your fans listen to it, they felt like, is this what my artist is going through, or do you think it resonated with them?
I think so.
The way you want it to resonate.
Most of the feedback that we get, especially the very personal ones that I try to like respond to when I see when I have the chance to they're like it's just like because it's real life, regardless of whatever it is, life going through challenges at you as a person. In a very huge way, it's about your mindset. It's about how you perceive whatever happening, to you or for you. So it's just like things that I personally believe in. I'm just like what's a better way to communicate with my fans than to let them know the philosophy. But it's like through music as well. Very importantly through music, because that's like your gift to the world.
Yeah, I get it. All right, guys. So we are here on the chill session with Lover Boy. I don't know why I keep putting the Lover Boy there.
I try.
Well, we are here with Stunn.
Yeah.
We are discussing his music. We're discussing, who he is aside from music. We're about to take a short break. We'll be right back. And when we come back, we're going to be talking industry talk and going more into Stunn,
Come on.
All right, we'll be right back.
It's the talk with Sassy MC. Say it loud.
Welcome back, guys. So we are here on the chill session. We are here drinking drinks, having fun, and having an amazing conversation with Stunn. And right back here, we're about to enter into the industry. To just gossip about the people small. You ready to gossip? You ready to give me the gist about the industry?
I'm not sure, but we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
All right. So they are industry here. We can always hear about, especially the fans, right? Because y'all got your own fans, and most times it's the fans that are pitting you guys against each other. Sometimes y'all don't even be against each other, but the fans. So they always talk about favoritism, and people, the other group respecting one artist more than the other person. Do you think that's happening in the Liberian music industry?
I mean, honestly, like I think that happens in every industry. I think as artists need to just focus on the art, very importantly, right? And take away the noise and everything. Fans are supposed to do what they're supposed to do. That's natural, right? Every industry, you have fans going against each other, Again, the idea of, an existing industry, that's just what it is. That formula that comes from that, or that currency from that is attention. And that's exactly what you, the artist, need to thrive. And how can you get lost in that, now hate another person because of that? I just think it's about, emotional, intelligence and understanding that business is business. If you're trying to feed your family, you can't get, emotional about it. You can get emotional about it, right? It's about prioritizing what you're supposed to prioritize, the art, nothing more.
That's true. So looking at, because you started way back then, looking at back then the music industry and now and where it's headed, how can you compare the competitiveness amongst artists?
When I started, again, it was like, the same thing now that we have, like, a lot of emerging acts and stuff. It happened, like, outbursts, and that happened. And after that, COVID happened. A lot of things happened that slowed the industry down. So this is just for me a show that, okay, there's like reawakening of the industry in a way, where it's like, the emergence of new acts and stuff.
So you think we have more competition now than back then?
I think, I can say more or less, but I think, competition is something that existed before. I can say for a fact it also exists right now. But, I can say, which is more or less.
Because I'm asking this because now the up and coming artists currently, they are really pushing.
Yeah, a lot of things are,
they're really pushing.
Yeah. Taking a lot of things into consideration that can be understood a lot of different ways. For example, now you have like social media playing a huge part of it. Like we are all like, benefiting from that. You have, for example, TikTok, the idea of content creation, so it's a new paradigm, right? Where there was like before, where, basically you had to go take CD places and stuff like, actually.
Right.
So it's like, two different, worlds basically. And, my thing to new, artists and stuff that I talk to all the time is just like, take serious advantage of this. Like every one of us, like understand the importance, right? Because what I'll tell you for a fact is that the older guys, kind of should understand in a way how this entire thing is supposed to work, and help to guide the new ones as well. But I think it's like, a beautiful moment in time right now for music in Liberia. Because like,
yes, it is.
If you feel you're talented, what you could do, get your guys in your community together, everybody support you, whatnot, put camera in front of you, show your talent. And, who knows, you might be the next star. That's how easy it is versus, before you have to like go to gatekeepers. And that's speaking of the idea of industry, that existed before. Now, if you notice, a lot of people, lost their relevance. Why? Because, nobody coming to you anymore to tell you, like, oh, put me on. It's like, I do my stuff.
Everybody can do their stuff.
That's just what it is.
And these days, now you blow on TikTok, you already blow.
That's just what it is.
Because you're going global.
TikTok is basically serving as the middleman now. Before it was like, record labels, obviously, you have to go through before getting your songs distributed. But now you can figure out distribution by yourself as a person. You can also figure out, marketing as well. The job. And this is why I think, again, in Liberia, I feel like, again, no shade to labels, right? But I just feel like labels in Liberia need to understand the actual framework of how labels operate. Right. Other than that, it's just like, praising us, trying to imprison other prisoners. That's just what it is.
Yeah. I think I had the same conversation with Carol about the label thing in Liberia. Yeah. Labels don't understand, artists don't understand, so it's a huge
information gap. Whereas like artists sign documents not understanding things in document.
Right.
Labels gave things to not fully understanding responsibilities as well. Just understand like you have an artist. That's not all to it. You know. Again, all of these things, I mean, kind of stifle like the industry growth, right? Because you realize that it's supposed to happen, here, 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 in steps and stuff. But for a lot of labels, it's just about getting the break. That's like their focus. I get you big. What's next?
Talking about industry growth, do you think your industry is growing, or is stagnant, or is
I kind of
going
feel
backwards?
I mean, like everything else in nature, you're growing or dying. I think at this point in time, like I said, there is growth happening. The reason you can see new artists and be like oh, he's dope. You know what? It's because
Now, where
is
is the
happening.
growth happening? Because having new artists coming up every time and dropping really good bangers, that's just one aspect of it.
Right.
But do we have investors? Do we have people that want to support the music industry? Is there growth on that side?
If I'm being honest, as a creative, I don't talk a lot about like the financial part, as in like not saying we don't. That's matter of fact, as a creative, is the music business. Let's talk about it that way, right? And a huge part of any business is figuring out how you start, right? If you have a startup, for example, there are things you got to put in place and whatnot, and music is no different. So I know a lot of artists that just sit on the back end and be like I'm looking for invest. It don't work that way. Anywhere around the world, it's the music business. So you treat it like a business. You obviously, if you treat the music like a talent thing, you will be treated like a talent thing. You treat it like a business thing, I think. And as far as like investors, I'm not like Liberia is Liberia. You live life thinking and expecting something from somebody else. I promise you, it will celebrate you. But yeah, I personally think life is what you make it, and if you actually have a dream, you want to make it work, you figure out ways to make it work.
So what are some challenges you have faced as an artist in this industry?
If I'm being honest, like I really don't be seeing. So how I like to see this entire thing, like remove Stunn from the equation. Like there's the artistic journey, right, that happens in different phases, right? So as a person, you could get stuck in phase 2 and feel like it is done. Like I don't know what to do next and whatnot. No, it's a journey. Like you have to see like time, for example, right? You could get stuck in the now and think there is no tomorrow as well, but tomorrow exists. So it's the same thing with the I think finance is a huge part of the music thing in Liberia. I think like my guys, I talk to them all the time. I'm like I have a common saying I use all the time. Wherever I tell people like figure out an engine and then create. So it's just simple as figure out a way to support the art and then create art. That's just what it is.
Okay. Have you been misunderstood? Do people misunderstand you? Like, Stunn is this person, but then you're not that person. You're just being misunderstood.
If I'm being honest, I think my entire life. And guess what? I'm very fine with that. I think, that I got so cool with that at a very early age that even getting involved with music is not, and this is why people don't get it. It's just funny because I be laughing at I do a lot of things with humor, right? So for me, it's like, it's just what it is. You have to learn that this life is life. I try not to take anything too seriously,
So the thing was, Sassy can be talking about you, that true? So you like girls.
Well, that's my brother, by the way.
You papa for the girls.
Shout out to my brother, I
Because there's some iota of truth now. Like your brother and all that. So are you papa for the girls? And you got all the girls them.
I wish to the girls. I hope you can. Nah, but for real though, I mean, Liberia, we are blessed with amazing things, and one thing we can proudly boast of is like very beautiful women. I know you know that for a fact, and it's just like shout out to the ladies. I try to do good music to just make them feel special in any way possible.
So that's just they say papa for the girls.
I mean, he obviously just talking about the music. I'm a kind guy, I try to look for trouble. I'm just in my corner. That's what it is.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. Have you ever thought about quitting? Did that ever cross your mind to say, okay, I'm fed up with this thing. I think it's time that I actually quit. Was there a point?
I think like I spoke about the journey of an artist, right? I think you have different phases. There's the part of you that at times maybe should go, and it's like the refining process where it's like the time to let go of the old self and figure out a new idea of who you are. And usually that period for a lot of people is like you're confused, like what's next. And I went through that phase as well as a person where you're like questioning your love, because I don't know, I just don't be listen to just anybody talk to me and tell me what to do with this life thing I try to find. But yeah, obviously I think I went through that phase, and very important to have I have such a very beautiful community of folks that support me. That includes like best friends, family, everybody, fans as well. um and yeah, in case I should speak also about what got me through that I can recommend to any creative, which is very important because the entire journey is about
Yeah,
that.
sure. Go ahead.
God, just that, God. And it's not on the level of being just religious about
Or
it,
being
right?
highly spiritual,
Exactly.
blasting
It's far
songs
from
around
that.
3 o'clock.
It's far from that. Very far from that. But I think as humans, we're spiritual beings, and figuring out that nature of yourself as a person is very important, because nothing in the physical is not spiritual. So
True. I always tell people,
if you have a certain mindset towards something, figure out something is going on there.
I tell people life in itself is spiritual, transactional, and political.
It is.
Life in total.
When I talk to my guys, like we break it down, like we exist on 3 planes of correspondence, and that's like physical, mental, and spiritual. So ignoring the fact that you're also a mental being, you're a physical being, and a spiritual being, it's like you can't ignore one of them. You have to pay attention to everyone. Wake up in the morning, your mental state matters a lot. You're a physical person, moving time and space, and you're a spiritual being that transcends way beyond this body. So in a very huge way, I think realizing that for me as a person just got me closer to even the idea of being a creative, because like that's in a very, very deep way. This is why I feel like in the industry, information is so important. I'm not saying I have all that information. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like we have pieces of information. When we bring it together, we have like something we can share. So to the folks that actually be doing the beef thing, niggas, step up. It's like
That's one thing I've not really heard about you being any beef or something, or has there been any rumor?
I mean, people try to like do their things, obviously, but as a person, I really live my life in a way that I can go to bed at night and not wake up at 2 a.m. And not have a sleep, right? So I kind of like I'm not saying I do right by everybody,
Right.
but I try to be as good as I can be, as kind as I can be, I guess. So as far as industry and stuff, like I see things at times, I'm just like I just let it go. But don't get it twisted. I love the smoke. I love the smoke. No, I have problem. And I like to be very, very clear about that. Yeah.
I mean, you're just human.
No, the thing about it is that like I'm very aware of like all sides of myself as a person, and I think by understanding me as a person to an extent, I can say this could trigger me, so I'm not going to allow it to happen. So it's the same thing with.
It's good that
I
you're
think
self-aware.
I try. Thank you.
Now let's get to know you. Let's get to know Stunner. I know your fans who want to know you.
Okay.
Who is Stunner outside of music? When you're not doing music, who are you?
Anyways, I'm Laurel Indy Mark George. Favorite color is black. Which is crazy, right? my mom is Eve on Ogogo. We so I have like a fine balance of like a link to Nigeria as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's like and my dad is Liberian fully. My mom is Liberian as well, but it's just like family lineage and stuff like and as a person, yeah, I love to paint a couple of things. I'm trying to think about things that would be surprising.
You love to paint?
I do all the time.
Like draw?
So, yeah, when I'm not doing music. Actually, that was my first art form that I fell in love with. I think, yeah, it was so serious that they had to put me through art school and all of that.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen any of your things online.
Yeah, people that know me, my friends.
You just do it. We don't know now. So we are fans now.
Actually,
important to us?
no, actually, I have a friend right now that he was like, we have to do like a exhibition type thing or whatnot for December. We have something planned already.
Right.
And it's not just gonna be about the art. It's about the idea that Stunn as a person is not just a musician, right? In all facets. So
Now, what's a fun fact about you that's gonna blow our minds that we don't know?
fun fact, I don't know. Probably I played up to 3rd division in the National League.
You can play football.
I played up to 3rd division. I was like a registered player in the league, So yeah. You don't think I can play? That's crazy. No, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll tell you for a fact. Like I'm a baller, right? If anything, I'm a baller. I'm a baller.
So when are you inviting me to come and watch you play? Because I just verify this information.
Actually, I play on Thursdays. I'll let you know this Thursday.
Please do.
I will.
I will definitely.
I got you. And you have to come back and say the truth.
No, of course.
I
will definitely. I'll definitely do.
I got you. I got you.
What's a chill day for you? What do you do for fun?
I love the beach. For me, gym is a signal in my day. So how I like to see the day thing, right? I have like signals and then noise. So for example, the thing they put me doing on Facebook, that noise to me, and then signal is like my gym things I have to do, right? And so gym basically, I would say beach. Spend a lot of time like just being present. And maybe if I can, or I have a cat, by the way, Nala. Shout out to Nala.
I love kittens.
So I'm with Nala, and we're either taking the drive somewhere, just hang.
That's cute.
Yeah.
So you're more of a cat person than a dog person?
Actually, all my life I've been a dog person, and then
you just decided to get
out of the green, boom, this year.
So now, how can you say now that you like cats more than dogs?
Yeah, my best friend is gonna hit me for this, Benita, because she's like always against my cat, but I don't know. I think it's just always about expanding consciousness, like kind of understanding like what a cat would like versus now understanding what a dog would like and stuff. Like I just think it's about just experiencing it, not like choosing this or that. Because honestly, dog was my first pet, so it's kind of almost impossible to say like this. Yeah, but it's just.
So now that you have cat, you think you can own a lion?
Guess what? Just guess what?
Please don't tell me you have a lion.
No, I don't. But guess what? Obviously not. Not yet. Say it that way.
But you want to own a lion?
I mean, from my mouth to God's ears. Like
how is that something that you're saying from my mouth to God's ears?
Why not?
A lion.
No, it's just the idea that there are a couple of things that
we're talking about the king of the Chongo.
Yeah. Why not? Why not?
Where are you going to own a lion? In Liberia?
Oh, by the way, this recording is gonna be here, right? I'm gonna, this live thing is gonna happen in a very large way, so lion is definitely gonna be here.
How is lion amongst the life things that you want to happen? Is that your dream pet to own?
I wouldn't say dream, but I would say like just I can kind of imagine now CIC coming to the house and I'm like putting a lion actually. I think
see.
exactly why. Now you understand why, right?
Now I understand.
Now you understand why.
Now I understand that only a lion is.
These guys in the places and stuff, so yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lion. Yeah. You know all the conversation.
I mean, y'all gotta come. I mean, you're a lady, you definitely will be safe. But guys, I can't say the same with y'all, man. I promise you, I can't.
The Nigerian boy can say what you man do, man. So for the ladies, they are okay, but then
I
for the guys,
you're good, 100%. The guys, you gotta learn to run. Just what to do.
Yeah. What do men do, man? Then they can say that women and women this, women that. What do men do, man? If music did not exist, what would you be doing right now?
So funny enough, a very huge portion of my life, I was not thinking about music, right? And it was primarily me. By the way, I love the mind. Should I say the brain instead? I love the brain actually, and I kind of always sat and thought about what's going on inside, So I always wanted to be a neurosurgeon, and I think at a very early age I realized that this is Liberia. This is Liberia.
What do you mean?
This is Liberia. Now this thing is the idea that don't get me wrong. So because I couldn't get like that or to become that as a person, I think philosophy is one beautiful way that I think, I kind of...
Yeah, I still think you can be that.
No, but like I said,
You can be singing while you're doing the surgery.
Guess what? Wow. I can imagine that. I can imagine that. But yeah, I would definitely be doing that. Definitely be doing some work on your brain and making sure you're good. Yeah.
That's the way you touch it. It's kind of weird. Like, it's not,
wow.
I'm definitely going to be doing work on the brain and making sure, how? Are you going to sing us into oblivion?
Well, absolutely not. I'm gonna make sure you're good. Nah, but I just if it was about just up to me as a person, like what career path I would choose. I think it would have been that, definitely. If it was like okay, choose, and you have the opportunity, like go get the studies, do this, do that. Definitely.
Imagine you in a lab coat.
Actually, listen, that's Stunn.
With the hair
A
thing,
nice doctor, I'd be walking in.
the nose mask, the gloves,
Yeah.
doing a surgery. It's just a visual picture that I'm seeing.
Fire, right? Fire.
How? Because you always add to slow and
You think so?
Like
you know what? It's just like I've kind of like figured out like a specific rhythm to this life thing that I kind of like love to move by, right?
Okay.
Like certain spaces and stuff, like
So you adapt.
I think I kind of respect the law of vibration. So like certain spaces, I understand how to vibrate as an individual. So I think it's just the idea, like if it is work, it is work. For example, if I'm exercising, I'm obviously not moving slow. I'm super fast. So it's like right. So it's like different places, like
Okay.
what it is.
Okay. I'm still imagining. I'm still trying to get that picture.
Nah, but I think at a very young age, what I realized was that my brain is sort of in a way that I feel like I have like a couple of tabs open at the same time, and like I actually can access when I want. And it was not a conversation I would have with just every friend that I had at that time, and it took me some time to understand some things about myself as an individual. Before music, that was before art, right? And yeah, I think because of that, I realized that I really want to understand what's going on up here. It was about me
That's
first,
good.
and I was like, okay, I want to understand what my friend is thinking too, and then But yeah, from a very young age, it's just been that way.
I think you're a more fine neurosurgeon.
But guess what? I've expanded on that, not to go to the school and do whatever. Like I said, I just love like what goes on in the mind. So even like what we think, why we do what we do, all these things and stuff. I kind of like
So you have some sort of knowledge about that.
I wouldn't say I have some sort of knowledge. I think again. So we exist in a world where it's like a lot of people exist on the end of like either intellect or intuition. I think for me as an as a person, it's like I'm more on the end of like intuition, where it's like I kind of go with like not knowing what people say they know,
Right.
more like respecting the fact that information coming to you every moment of the day in different ways, and it's up to you to download. So I don't think I know. I think I receive. Yeah.
Okay. That's a good thing to know about you. I'm very sure your fans are getting to know.
I mean, try with it.
Now let's hear a funny thing about you. What's one of the funniest thing or the wildest thing that have happened to you while you were performing?
I think it's yes. Oh no, there was this Hotel Africa where I can still remember. Me talking that way. Nah, but for real though, there was this event we want to perform, and everybody got to the car, and then I was like trying to make my way, my guys, the security ahead, and I got a kiss from a fan. I don't know who. I saw her like moving, but it was like in a way I felt violated because it was like I kind of can understand the feeling of you seeing your artists and stuff like which of course I love, right? But
An actual kiss.
Yeah, it wasn't just the idea of a kiss, but it was the idea. I don't know who. I don't know where you're from. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was just one of those things where like it was like close to. But yeah, but that was that. I think. Yeah.
The ladies getting ready to put it to you. We are.
I love them
the
girls.
artist name. I think I was watching. I don't know
We love
who
them
the
girls.
international artist was performing, and then this girl just, I think, pull his trouser down and touch his private, or pull a hand in your trouser and touch his private, or something. Something happened.
I mean, I kind of can understand the excitement, but it's like people can go overboard at times, and it's it's
I get that.
it's crazy. I promise you.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I mean, you're good. You're good.
By the way, who's your favorite international artist?
It's kind of hard to pick one. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, pick one.
It's kind of sincerity is hard. Like I listen to like different types of music.
Okay, just give me one.
Bon Iver.
Woo.
Right. So you see, so it's like Bon Iver is like the type of music that he be doing is like really just. I'm gonna put you on after here. By the way,
Please do.
Bon Iver, and it's like if you're trying to listen to music, not just like listen to what somebody next to you listening to and whatnot. He's very dope. He's very dope.
So I asked because I wanted to know what's What's one guilty pleasure song that you listen to that people would be
I saw that.
surprised that
I
you
was like-
listen to?
I'm not sure.
You don't
Sincerely.
listen to any guilty
That's like-
pleasure song?
Yeah, I really don't.
Really?
I'm really a cool guy.
Look at you. You know very well. You know very well you have that song. So just.
Nah, funny thing, I tried like running my mind and I can't come up with with anything right now. Sincerely, see it.
Okay. So for
What about
me,
you?
Don't worry.
Right.
So
No.
for me, I want to say is Under the Influence.
Ooh. What's that again? By who?
Chris Brown.
Chris,
I
Chris,
get ready
Chris.
to say.
Oh, I don't listen to that. I'm obviously just kidding. That's the joint. That's the
It used to be when we
yeah.
remixed by Tank.
Ooh.
I love the way you, I love
Oh,
the
yeah.
way you.
How do you say you're not a love girl and then you're listening to Under the Influence and him and then
Guilty
Tank?
pleasure.
I gotta feel it, but
When that time
the emotion
comes,
of love is ever flowing.
No,
man.
it's beautiful, but I'm just saying that currently I'm not in that space, so I need a song to help me.
I'm trying to feel it.
Because I'm a lover of music, I tell
Yeah.
you. I love music. I'm always listening to music. I always like to, and my favorite kind of songs to listen to is the country western song, as I was telling you.
Yeah.
So I love songs that's going to resonate with me when I'm in a certain moment.
I'm gonna put you onto one right now.
Please do.
Fast Car, Tracy Chapman. You probably already know it. Living a fast car. It's fire. It's fire. It's fire. I promise you.
I've listened to it. So I'm definitely going to update
Sure,
my playlist after
sure.
you have to put me on.
I got you.
What's one collaboration? Okay, so the question is in twofold.
Okay.
I asked this question to your friend, and he said we should put it out to the fans. So I'm
Okay.
gonna ask you it.
Okay.
What one collaboration you would never do?
Here
Here
in Liberia.
in Liberia, what's one collaboration you would never do?
Honestly, I wouldn't say never, but honestly, the thing about it is that I think the question should be more like, what collaboration would you do? I really don't like that.
I know. That question is there, but I told you I'm gonna ask this one.
Nah, but
And he was like, he was like, I know what you're trying to do. I know what you're trying to
nah,
do.
but it's fire though. It's fire though. No, but sincerely though, I really wish I had like real smoke with any one of these guys. Like I
But
would say
you
straight
don't.
to you, but funny enough, no. So it's like
Okay, so what one collaboration that you would do? International, local.
I mean, internationally there are a lot of possibilities. Locally as well. Oh, by the way, I got a Spice feature coming very soon. And I think that's one person I'm really excited to Spice and a little more. Like two artists that I'm super excited to actually work with. Why? Not just the idea of loving music and doing it and being very respectful as individuals and growing with time and stuff in the industry. I think it's they know music, right? And I think there's a lot of things that we can do. So yeah, basically Spice and a little more.
All right, so we are already at the end. We're going to, but before we take a break to come back to our fun section, just give us one word or one phrase that defines who you are.
Meek.
Okay. On that note, we are going to be right back with our fun segment.
It's the talk with Sassy MC. Say it loud.
Welcome again to the chill session. So we are now at our fun segment, and this one is called Truth or Sip. I did not want to bring alcohol because I don't want you to be. So I don't want you to do that. So I say make you drunk. So I brought water because I know some of the question that you may not want to answer it.
I mean, we'll see.
So the first question: who's the most famous person in your DM right now? God, why didn't I bring alcohol?
Nah, cause nah, but for real though, that first one was nice. I drank people. So nah, but wow, imagine me saying.
Damn.
But I mean, it's just like in the DM, not like right?
Now you don't. You explain. No
I
evidence.
mean, I drink people.
Okay, my second question.
All right.
Have you ever lied in an interview? And
Yes.
you were telling me what the lie that you told.
No, I can't really lie. I think it was something about some industry stuff that happened. I just wasn't ready to talk about it, and
So
I felt
you
like,
lied.
and usually the thing about it is that people that don't mind their business, I usually just answer whatever way I want to answer to you, and that was just me being that way, to that particular guy, because he was being very, very crazy, but again, it was fun, just look back at it and be like, ooh.
Okay.
That's how me used to be. You're nice.
Well, probably. I can let you can answer.
I mean,
My third question: what's one secret habit that you have that nobody knows about?
I mean, I would say something, but I think a lot of people know. But
No, I don't want to worry
I
about
mean,
it.
no,
I want to.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
That even your bestie right now, she will be like, "What?"
About me that nobody know. That's crazy. Guess what? I'm gonna take a sip. Here's why.
Not regretting why I did not bring alcohol. Look, Iman.
Yeah, it would have been
Next
nice.
time,
It would
give
have
me
been nice.
alcohol on the show. Thank you very much.
Shout out to.
Have you forgotten your own lyrics before on stage?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's good.
That I can think of, I guess. I don't know.
The question back. I really wish I had alcohol.
Because you don't drink? You'd be surprised.
Who's one artist you think is overrated
In the
in
industry.
Liberia? I feel like the devil right now.
Because here's the thing about it, right? With art, I kind of like, just respect, art in different forms. Like, somebody might be.
That team.
No, sincerely
There's
though.
somebody that's even me. I can be like, okay, this person is over. I don't know why people are just hyping this person up. This person is overrated.
Nah, I just think like, again, different moment, different. Yeah, so it's just like I like to just allow people to have their, whatever thing it is, especially in.
Okay. Have you ever sent a risky text and then you regretted sending that text?
Send a risky text. Yes. Regret. No, I don't regret.
Oh, you did not regret.
I don't be regretting.
Now my follow-up question to whom?
I can say her name.
Oh, it's a her.
Of course,
At least we got a gender.
Yeah. Why would I send a risk? Anyways, but yeah, I sent a risky text to the lady. But yeah, the thing about it is that like when I like a person, I'm very flirtatious. So if I send a text, it's definitely be risky. Yeah.
Okay. And but what's the most embarrassing thing that has happened to you on the show?
On the show. Off the top of my head, I think I had a moment where I was like, on stage in the middle of a set. Actually, like a performance I really planned for like a very long period of time, and then boom, right before I got on stage, that was my first actual anxiety attack. It was like, oh, boom, I was like, freaking out, and then boom. I had to sing live that day, and I lost my voice right before. Yeah, and you can't explain to the people that already paid their money to come and see
how
that,
did you manage?
But besides that, it was just poor management, as in, of the time and everything, rehearsals. We had way too many rehearsals before, so it was, I thought about it, I was like, it might happen. I was just praying, but yeah. But I did the thing, it happened, it was a nice one. Figure out something go work is, thing.
What's one rumor about you that is actually true?
I'm a lover boy. I'm just kidding.
Not kidding you.
Don't believe the news. Don't believe the media. Rumor about me.
That is
I
true.
don't know rumor about me that. Do you know any? And I can confirm or deny because I don't think I know one that would say.
Should I tell the rumor?
Yeah.
So there was this post on Damo online that you were in some custody battle with your ex about
Where in Liberia?
about investments and stuff.
And that was cap. That's
Okay.
cap.
That's not true.
That's cap. Cappity
Alright.
cap.
Okay, so name one song that you released but you did not like.
It's kind of hard. I can't really think of any Because
You've actually all the songs that you release, you like.
Because I have a lot of songs that not out yet, right? Versus songs out. So like even if it's like putting it out in that moment in time, it's like because I'm feeling, or we playing it that way and whatnot. So obviously some sort of love gotta be towards it, even if it's not. They might like it more than I do at times, and I might like it more than them. As in my team and stuff. It had. I mean that situation happens, but as far as basically. Okay, I mean the boy actually take his time to do good music. So.
Okay. Lastly, on Truth or Zip, before we go to this or that, who's your celebrity crush?
In Liberia?
Liberia.
Oh, you want to get spicy in Liberia?
Liberia and international.
I don't think I have a celebrity crush here. I think if I was saying any, I think it would be I would say Tim's, but I'm not gonna say it because it's like just obvious. Like she's.
It's obvious. There are a lot of other women out there that you could have crushed on, so it's not obvious. We got Ara Star, that's in Nigeria. We got T.Y.
Exactly what I was about to say. I would say Tim's, but I mean, it's obvious that she's Tim's. So everybody.
So you have to crush.
But Tim's, baby, I'm here. I'm single. I'm for you.
Remember, shoot a shot again.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the last one. This is called This or That. Okay. So don't think, just answer.
We're good.
Studio time or stage performance?
Stage performance.
Morning or late night vibes?
Late night vibes.
Fame or fortune?
Fortune.
Afro beats or hip hop?
Afro beats.
Writing alone or collaborating with others?
Writing alone. 100%.
Party hard or chill outdoors?
Chill outdoors.
Freestyle or written bars?
Freestyle.
Big crowd or intimate show?
Come again?
Big crowd or an intimate show?
Intimate show. All my shows are that way.
Sneakers or slides?
Shoes.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Love or hustle?
Hustle.
Who loves ep?
Right.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Now on the mountain before.
Yes.
Where?
Lofa.
The Nimba Mountain?
Nimba. It's somewhere else. Another place. I can't mention now because somewhere I put two and two together. But.
Yeah. Old school beats or new school rap or trap?
Old school.
Recording booth or live band?
Live band.
And lastly, text or call?
Text, please.
Of course.
Please text. Please.
Like,
please
who
text.
just be calling people?
Please text.
You be like, can I call you? No, you can't call me. But I like to call. Myself, I like to text. Text me.
Tell me what you want to say.
What you want? The same thing that you can tell me on the phone, you can tell me through text.
That's crazy.
But funny thing, people that love texting,
yeah,
they love calling when it's their, person.
I mean, yeah, because why wouldn't you pick up my call?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Then I'd be like, but I can remember my ex told me, but when I started coming around you first, you told me that you don't like calls. I'd be like, that was Dan.
Shout out to her ex, by the way.
Like, you're not my person. Why would you want to, call me? But now that you're my person, you have to call me.
You got the right to do that anytime. Come on.
Of course, anytime.
The next episode of this will be me interviewing you because we got to get deep into the stories.
You want to ask me some questions?
Oh, yes.
Let's go.
Do you miss bro?
Of course. Let's go.
Do you miss bro?
No, I don't.
That's amazing. Actually,
I'm healed.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think healing is like a finite thing, though?
I think it's a stepping stone for wanting to move on.
Right.
Because when you're not healed, you tend to dismantle everything when you get to the next person because you're going to carry your trauma, your toxicity, and everything into that new relationship.
I agree.
Then it just gets some kind of way. So I think that you have to be fully healed.
Right. We often kind of, tend to think we're healed, and then, as humans, right? And then when you have maybe like an experience that
and then
gives
it
your
just
mind
takes
like a
your
shock,
mind.
and you're like, oh, triggers, and you're like, oh, I realized I'm not.
But I think
do you think that's also possible that
I think I'm healed. I think I've had instances that would take my mind there, and it didn't, and I was like, okay,
that's growth, right?
I mean, I think I'm healed.
Right, that's amazing.
I'm ready for the.
So you ready to listen to love songs now?
No,
okay.
My not wanting to listen to love song is not about my trauma.
Okay.
It's just, as I said, right? I like to listen to songs based on my mood.
I like that.
When I'm depressed, an episode that especially anxiety, an episode that I go through a lot, I love to listen to a song that's gonna wake up my mood.
Okay.
Yeah. When I'm happy, I love happy songs. When I'm sad, sometimes I listen to some soft songs. One song I used to love listening to when I was in my toxic era, like
A Liberian woman admitting toxic era.
Goodbye, my lover.
Wow.
Goodbye, my friend.
Come
You
on.
have been the one. I used to play that song when I've messed up. And I'm trying to play baby and wanting. I don't want to apologize, but I want that kiss to die. Then I try, to be toxic and start gaslighting with that song. Goodbye, my lover. Goodbye, my friend. And I'm crying,
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for that.
No, but I'm healed. I am healed.
No, that's
Are
nice.
you? Are you healed?
I think healing is a journey. I think
So you're still on that journey.
and it's not just like a because of an event, right? I think it's like a lifelong thing where you're like, even from like childhood traumas and stuff. It's not like just the idea of like relationship and stuff. So
No, I'm not healed from childhood trauma.
right, it's a journey.
not.
You're constantly like like realizing like, oh,
I'm
I
not.
imagine this or understood it this way, and it's not this way
And
now.
I really
Knowing
wish there will come a day where I'm able to explain, to talk. That's why I'm always supposed to know this on my WhatsApp that I actually need a therapy. I need a therapist, and I don't trust Liberian therapists.
I know.
I've
Say
gotten,
that.
excuse me, a lot of recommendations like, see this person is good. I'm like, I feel like what I have to pour out, I don't just want anybody, to listen to me. So these days I've made ChatGPT my therapist,
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
helps.
because it tells you what you want to hear.
Kinda.
And sometimes it's bold to say, okay, this is this and that is that.
Right.
So I'm not healed from childhood trauma. I still got things that's playing on me. I still got some things that keep me up at night, crying and overthinking. And sometimes it enters into my current situation, and then I tend to make decisions based, on them. And then I come to realize that, okay, I am definitely, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing, So, but relationship, we're not that money I'm looking for.
Yeah, like that. And even first of all, thank you for even talking about it, because trauma is not something that we talk about a lot here. I think if anywhere we need to talk about it out here in Liberia,
Because we are all traumatized in this
exactly. And I think a huge part of healing is like coming to the awareness that, okay, there's something here that needs fixing, or maybe not necessarily fixing, but something here to be worked on. And then you're like, oh, a lot of people do things and they don't ask the questions of like why, like you said that you're looking right,
Right.
and it's never how you're just looking.
It's not how you are.
There's some sort of like program running at the same time while you're being conscious, and this is making you to give this result, and by not realizing that, a lot of people can go through entire life not realizing that,
Of course, and it just
and it's
feel
like,
like
it takes away a lot from what you could
that's
be as
how
a
I'm
person.
wired. What do you mean
Yeah.
that's how you're wired?
Yeah.
It's just weird to say that's how you're wired.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people with the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset, right? So if you're a person that open your heart to growing and saying that I know I'm not finished product, I'm like work in progress. I think it's always about figuring out different sides of yourself that that needs healing, because you are never you till you actually kind of access different sides of yourself and have allow yourself to feel, right? Because a lot of times, like with trauma and stuff, what we tend to do is like you tend to like
Build that wall.
exactly
That
it's
wall,
not it's
and
not
we don't want anybody penetrating because we're
Yeah.
trying to be so overprotective.
yeah. So as soon as you get anything triggering, you're like triggered. Even decisions, like how we make, and it's crazy because like we have to, it's a beautiful thing. I think it was Carl Jung that said something about it. Bringing the unconscious conscious, which is very important. Because for a lot of people, I think what he was trying to say is that for a lot of people, they run their programs and not understanding, that some of their conscious decisions are, caused by the unconscious.
Right.
And by not coming to terms with that, things happen, you call it fate. You say this, no, it's just the idea of like, figure out who you are, heal if you need to, and grow. Yeah.
So you're done asking me questions?
I mean, basically. Actually, I love this particular side of it because it's like a little bit get to know you too as well.
Yeah.
Right? That's really
So
dope.
that's what I'm open to answering before we can say bye bye to the fans.
Okay. What's one thing you would want to be remembered for?
Making an impact.
Okay.
Yes, making an impact, especially in my field.
Amazing.
That's why I'm doing everything possible currently to help other people that's in my field. So I want to remember. I want people to be telling that success story and say it started up because Sassy did this. You know,
That's
I want to
amazing.
be a part of people's success story. I want to make an impact.
Do you feel a sense of responsibility to do that?
I don't know. It's pressuring. I just
Right.
have that pressure on me. Like
Right.
I have to do this, and I'm so glad that I started with my media training. I did the first one in July, and I have the upcoming one in October.
That's dope.
So I have a lot of things that I want to do, you know. So I just feel that intense pressure, like I have to do this.
Right.
I want to be.
That's very beautiful. Even understanding, feel, because not a lot of people here, I believe, you know, kind of feel the need to set the stage for people coming as well, right? We kind of talk about, you know, systems not being fixed and things not being in place, but it's also up to us, right? So whatever you're doing, that's like fixing systems and not just the idea of, oh, I'm just doing it for me. And that's beautiful to know, sincerely. And I actually hope, you know, you actually, you know, get the type of impact you want to make, you know? But it's been a really amazing one being here. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yes,
It's been a really good talk.
I had a this session feels so emotional.
Yeah, it's a really nice one. I'm not gonna lie, it's a really nice one.
Yeah,
Sincerely.
this session is an emotional session. There's a lot of things I have to reflect upon after here, but it's been a good conversation.
Thank you so much
And
for having me.
I hope we can do this again.
Pleasure is all mine. Please.
Of course. All right, guys. So I'm not gonna say much. I'm just gonna leave this feeling with you. I don't want to spoil the mood or anything. So this has been amazing on another edition of the Chill Session, and I was here with Stunn. It was an amazing time. I'm just gonna leave this feeling, just how I'm feeling. I'm gonna leave it with you until I talk to you again. Bye bye.
It's beautiful.
It's the talk.
Yay!
Sassy MC, say it loud. Say it proud.